I don't want to come across as snarky, but there might be another way other than adjusting your gain to deal
Yep.
with the children screaming in the background.
Yeah, I know. I tried those ways, but my lawyer told me that none of them were
None of them
were
are.
going to be very,
There will be blowback.
effective for my freedom.
We like freedom. At least we
I like freedom.
pretend like we do. Let's not go down that rabbit hole though today. Mr. TK, good morning.
Good morning,
Is
Toronto Real Estate Show. Holy smokes! How long
welcome.
we how long we been doing this now, Daryl?
We have been doing this for, I believe it is 7 months.
7 months. When was the last time that you started something and you continued to do it for 7 months after the novelty wore off?
Are you suggesting that the novelty is worn off here?
Well, the novelty always wears off, but I think we must be committed. We must be dedicated.
I
We
think we
must be
are.
consistent.
I am proud to say that I have done a few other things for more than 7 months in my
Okay.
45 years.
Okay, that's good. Well,
One,
I
one,
think
one of them being my marriage has been kicking around for 20 years. That is a pretty good streak.
marriage and podcasts. There you go. You're the guy to go to.
Absolutely. We'll reconvene on Wednesday for Daryl's marriage advice on
We're also
our
going to have
other
a stat
channel.
show, so maybe we can squeeze it in with the stat show this week.
Ooh, a
Stats come out
stat
Monday.
show this week?
Yep,
Nice.
that's cool. I like it.
That's cool.
Our
Stat
listeners like it.
it's gonna be a crazy stat show, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
What's what's going on
what's
in the
the
land of TK this week?
Okay, I was going to ask you the same thing, but I'll go first. Trying to get out once a week to hit up the ski or the toboggan hills or the skating ponds with the kids. So that's interesting. School is going back. We're excited over at my house. Let me tell you, we like routine. We like recess. We like our oldest going outside and playing with his friends and running around.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, we're just kind of looking at the whole big picture here, and really, we aren't doing too much. We're following the rules as far as the social gatherings. My business is essential, so I'm strictly seeing people that is an essential need. Other than that, everything's digital. I got an offer night tonight, and it's all digital. Email. We do it. We make it work. We figure out a way. How it's
Awesome.
done. Yeah.
Awesome. Do
What
the
about
ki-
you?
Everything's good. We're getting a little squirrely again, but the rink is frozen, so we've done a lot of skating. My
Okay.
son is enjoying skating, which is really nice. He's enjoying playing hockey. My son
Yep.
is like 6'2", and his stick is for like a little baby, so I'm gonna have to invest in a new stick for him, which will be a
I wonder if Amazon
pleasure.
would deliver a stick. I'm sure they would. They'll
Absolutely,
deliver
they
anything.
would. I mean, it'll cost triple, but it'll be here tomorrow. So, I mean, these are things that we have to balance. You can
Yes.
always get everything tomorrow or the next day on Amazon, and it's just a matter of whether you're willing to pay way more and get something far less, or what's the English here? Inferior is
Mm.
the word I'm trying
I
to.
don't think that's always the case, but I agree with you. There's lots of stuff that's like that where if you just kind of shop around, you'll get a better deal.
You'll get a better deal. Now you
Yeah.
may have to, order it online, wait a few days, go pick it up. Like our
Yep.
toilet flusher broke, which I'm proud to say I fixed by myself.
Oh,
I have become very handy here. I have fixed a faucet and a
yes.
toilet seat or a toilet flusher
Yeah.
in my lockdown,
I
which
know how to fix the toilet flusher. You get a bucket of water and you just put the bucket of water next to the toilet, and then every time you just use the bucket, right? And you fill
well,
it up at the sink.
the
Toilet's
initial
fixed.
fix was to just reach into the tank and pull the thing up manually, but that was getting
Yes.
a little annoying. So
Yeah.
I bit the bullet,
You
and
bit the bullet.
it was actually really easy, like really easy. It
You know what
turns
I'm
out
learning?
I'm a plumber.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's okay.
I downloaded TikTok this week.
You did you? We
Yeah.
have a TikTok channel. Did you know that? Toronto Real Estate Show has a TikTok channel. We have one
I
posting, and it is
one
pathetic.
Okay, I will follow the Toronto Real Estate Show on TikTok. But anyways, I got TikTok because of Tom last week. He said
Yes.
TikTok and what was the other one? Clubhouse. So I did my first few Clubhouse listening in on webinars, whatever. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And now I've been scrolling on TikTok, and most of the things that I'm looking at are like construction stuff. So it's like guys who just have really creative ways to do things, and it's quite satisfying to watch. You know, you watch guys who are really good at laying hardwood or finishing tile or painting, whatever. It's kind of like, oh yeah, these guys are good.
It's amazing what has become satisfying when there is absolutely nothing else to do. It's so
Anyways, I'm not
satisfying
spending too
watching
much
this
time
guy.
on it, but that's just what I learned in the social media world
Well,
this week.
speaking of social media, you can
Yeah.
follow us on Instagram, like many, many, many people right now,
Yep. Yep.
at
We're blowing up right now.
Blowing Up. We are at Toronto Real Estate Show,
Yep.
SHO, because we're cool.
Oh, that was
Boom.
clever.
So check
And
us out there.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, like, comment. We really appreciate it. And we know that there's people listening out there now. We know there's at least three, and we're really grateful to have you guys tune in every week.
Thank you to all three of you. Now, actually, what I would love is more comments, way more comments.
Way more comments.
We get comments from a few people who I love.
Regulars.
Regular
Yep.
people, cool conversations, great feedback. But like more of you, there's a lot of you actually watching, surprisingly.
Yep.
Give us a shout. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you want us to talk about, because we're just kind of, winging it here.
Yeah.
I do have
we're
something
happy
that
to do it.
I do want to talk about today at length.
Okay.
And I
Let's
think
get into it.
I think that it hasn't got enough attention here in Toronto. Did you hear how I said that? Toronto, like somebody that doesn't live here.
Proper English.
Proper English way of saying Toronto.
Yep.
This article came out. I saw it yesterday. Toronto neighborhood pushes back against new condo replacing the Palace Arms. The Palace Arms is a horrific looking building at King and Strawn in downtown Toronto. I guess it's outside of the core, but still downtown. The main focus of this article was not so much that a condo was coming in place of the Palace Arms, but it was the lack of affordable housing that they planned to put in there. And I want to talk about affordable housing. I am extraordinarily confused with why it is the developer's responsibility to be forced to provide affordable housing in the city of Toronto. And I'm sure you will have some very nice, reasonable answers for this. But I don't think that if you can't afford to live in Toronto, then maybe you shouldn't live in Toronto. It's a supply and demand thing, and it's a business, right? Like there's nobody putting a cap on the amount of bread that a baker can bake and what the price of that bread should be. The market dictates all of that, right? Now there are food banks that help people out. I don't imagine the bread from the food bank is very fresh, but I just don't understand why all these people are up in arms when there are affordable options. You just have to go to them, right? Like, for example, did you ever drive through Regent Park before it was redone recently?
Absolutely. Looked like Legoland.
But was it a place that you thought you should raise your children?
No.
No. And why do you think it got to the point that it got?
Affordable housing. Is that the answer?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's because the people that either own or run affordable housing
Yep.
don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Because how could they? If
There's no incentive, you're saying.
what is the incentive to care, right?
Mm.
So we've got all these people that live in lovely houses complaining about affordable housing, or people on lists upon lists upon lists waiting for affordable housing. Our friend Colton posted something on Instagram yesterday where he bought like a house in Welland for, I don't know, $280,000. A house. That seems pretty affordable. Now, do you want to live in Welland? I don't know. But if you can only afford to live in Welland, then maybe you should get off of a list in Toronto and go to Welland.
Okay.
But the big problem, and of course I'm taking the developer's perspective because I'm a developer.
Okay.
Why is it my issue to provide the affordable housing for a city whose policies and government uh, almost force this price appreciation, right?
Okay.
It's nothing that the developers are doing. I mean, we have markets, we have competition, right? If you can't get $1,500 per square foot for your condo,
Yep.
you won't put it up for $1,500, right? If
Can I
everybody
can I
else,
can I interject? Is this the time that I come in now or no?
well, I guess it is now.
Is it? So it's great. And in theory, I understand open market makes sense. But when it comes to housing, you have to understand that there are people who need to live in the city who can't afford the house prices.
Need,
Yes, our
need.
frontline workers.
Hold on. So this is a real need. This is not a
This is
want,
a
right?
real need.
A need.
Who is going to be our nurses? Who is going to be our social workers? Who is going to be the people who are professionals, but they're not high income earners. They're not six-figure earners. They can't afford the real estate in Toronto. They have to have an option to be able to live in the city. Otherwise, even police officers, I know they make good money, but if it just becomes elitist and you need $250,000 in order to be able to afford a property in Toronto, who's going to police the streets? Who's going to come and check out your permits during construction as a developer to ensure that you're complying with all the building codes? Where are all these people going to come from if you're just in a city of people who can afford the real estate? So there is an
Mm.
issue, and it is a fundamental part
So, but
of
what?
any city's cohabitation. You have to have different levels of income in order to provide the services needed for those people with the income.
That is not in dispute, and that is a wonderful answer from a wonderful perspective.
Okay.
Why is it forced upon the developers? Why? I mean, doesn't the province own, when the city own a ton of redevelopable land?
They don't have the resources to do what the developers are doing. And they go into partnership with the developers all the time in order to be able to figure out how to make this all work. You've got people who are elected officials here, and they're not the highest income earning. Their planning and development department, they're not compensated well enough to have that information, because if they were, they would be on the private development side making the millions of dollars, right?
So,
So
so,
they're building out of Lego blocks, and you want to come in there and sculpt some masterpiece out of clay, right?
but we have examples in the city where the government has put up the property and paid a developer to build a building and created an affordable housing complex, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So why don't
Nothing
they
wrong with
just
that.
do more of that? Why is it like, who wants to live in a building that has some people that are in affordable units and some people that aren't, and some people are paying $1,500 a square foot and some people are on affordable housing lists? Like, doesn't that seem like a conflict for some of the purchasers, for some of
Well,
the
let's
people?
let's quickly define what affordable housing is. I think you're making it sound like it's like the Regent Park of the
No,
1990s.
but that's what it turns into.
I disagree. And I think that the model that they have now is going to. So, someone I was talking to the other day, I was meeting with him. He's talking, and he used to live at Jane and Finch, and he's saying how wonderful it was in the 70s and 80s. And that was a density issue, right? I mean, there was just too many people living in one spot. It drove prices down, which attracts lower income people. And then the government's got some buildings and all that kind of stuff too. But this integration is going to keep density levels manageable. It's going to keep prices competitive. It's going to bring in, so you're not maybe entirely lower income demographics, and you're going to have people, living together, like I said, which is a very fundamental part of any society. But affordable housing is still not, Darryl. We're not talking about pennies here. We're talking about 20% under market. Like, we're talking about
But that's exactly.
marginal.
But that's even stupider.
Yeah,
That's
like
that
it's
doesn't even make any sense.
right, but
Like,
it's there to make the city feel good to know
Ah.
that they're negotiating and getting some sort of concession from the developer, and that the
Ooh.
people who elected them are going to go, all right, great, Palace Arms, see you later, but 40% of your inventory will be affordable. And at the
Uh-huh.
end, the elitist people end up getting in those affordable units anyways.
They
Like,
have to.
they find their way in, right?
What is the average price of a condo in a in a new construction development in downtown Toronto right now?
I don't know,
1,200
1400. What is
bucks,
it?
1,400 bucks. Like, so, okay,
Yeah.
so let's say it's 25% less.
Okay.
You're still over $1,000 a foot, right?
Yeah.
So what is affordable about that? So we should be up in arms right now about more affordable, not affordable, just a little more affordable. I am a proponent of a little bit more affordable housing, please. Just a little bit.
Not affordable, just a slightly more affordable than what it is. Yes.
Maybe the frontline workers should get more money,
Okay.
right? Maybe they should be paid, based on what they're doing.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, that's a whole nother conversation that we try not to
but
talk political
it's
stuff,
part of
but
it. It's part of the same conversation. It has to be. I mean, you brought it into this conversation. It is a
okay.
real factor because
Yep.
yes, we do need. I mean, policemen are probably pretty beneficial to the city, right? We need them.
I think they're doing a good job.
So I would have to agree with you and concede on that point. Frontline workers seem to be fairly necessary, at least at the moment. I imagine they were pretty necessary before, although they weren't considered on the front lines. They were just nurses, but they are pretty important regardless of what we call them, right?
Yep.
I mean, there seems to be an imbalance here. But at the end of the day, I don't understand still. How is it the developer? Okay, you damn developers need to make less money and make a little bit more affordable housing in your complexes because somebody who's on the front line still can't afford them, right? It's just somebody with more money can just afford. I don't even know how it works. You go on a list. How are you affording a $1,000 a square foot condo? Because
the Toronto open door policies, like I read through those, and now they have all sorts of stuff. So they've got income requirements, and they've got certain requirements that they're looking at to make sure that the people who are supposed to get on the list. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a ton of people on that list, and I'm pretty sure if you're going to bring affordable housing to a family, you're going to want to make sure that they qualify, and then the market for who qualifies the best, it just becomes, who's most qualified in order to receive these affordable housing, right? So what's this now? Oh yeah.
here's how much you need to earn to afford a house in Toronto right now.
Yeah.
It is, and look, what a beauty you can get. Look at this. Look at the one beside it. Look at this. It's all boarded up.
That's a beautiful house, though.
Listen,
gorgeous.
at some point in time, and maybe with a little bit more attention, this thing is definitely, got potential. It's beautiful to some people. I actually do like most of it myself.
Yep.
I'm sure
Victorian,
the backyard is
architecture.
gigantic, right? Based on, you can see the garage back here, which eats up most of the backyard. I'm sure it's very, very deep yard here. But look at what the house, we're going to have to move us out of the way here a little bit.
Right.
The price of a representative home, they're calling it representative home, which I've never heard before, but that doesn't mean anything. So basically a non-condo, townhouse, single family detached, the average is $1 million. What you need as a household annual income to be able to afford one of these, they're saying, is $178,500 per year. They also say somewhere in here that you need basically 5 years at a certain percentage of savings in order to afford, not kind of afford, not barely afford, not little bit more affordable, to afford just to live in the city in a house. Okay? 5 years of savings, which does not take into account the prices increasing over those 5 years. So at today's prices, assuming that
Yeah.
nothing changes, which we all know is extraordinarily realistic right now, right?
Mm.
If you save up, if it,
Sarcasm alert.
there's no sarcasm here. That's the funny thing. If you
Yeah.
have an income in your household of $180,000 and you can save 10% of that every year for 5 years, you probably still can't afford a down payment on a house in Toronto.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems to me that the answer to be able to afford something is to find something you can afford, right? People, there's no subsidy. Is there subsidies? We want some affordable cars, right? We want Mercedes at affordable prices. I want the same Mercedes as that guy has, but I want it for 25% less because it's fair. I mean,
That's not how it works, though. That's not. That's it's different markets.
but
It's different
car
markets.
aren't
Housing is definitely going to be on a list separate from uh, you know personal transportation.
so,
So you have to look at why is it that they're doing this.
but maybe the answer, if maybe if you can't afford Toronto and you're a frontline worker or a police officer, for example, if you can't
Okay.
afford to live here, maybe you should go do that somewhere else. And maybe the shortage of police officers in the city and frontline workers will then spur salary increases for those people because they're going to need them more, right? They're going to need to pay them more because either they're going to have to come from Welland, right?
Hmm.
And incentivize them to come, or they're going to have to be able to afford to live in this city, right? But it's not Mercedes' responsibility to put people that can't afford their cars in their cars. They have to make a more affordable car if they want that segment of the market, right?
But the lower end car vehicles, the open market and the competition keeps prices down, right? And the government grants that support the major auto manufacturers are allowing them to keep the prices and keeping jobs in North America. Like they are doing that already in the automotive industry, and their car makers are probably saying the same thing. Damn it, why do I got to sell my Tercel for 15 grand? This is unbelievable. The thing cost me 14.9. I'm barely making anything. And the government says, well, shut up before you end up getting shipped to Mexico,
No, but
right?
the government gives them incentives financially to do those things, right?
That's
They're,
what they're
they're,
doing for developers, Daryl,
how? What am I
because
missing?
they're giving them the
We're going to allow you
ability.
to make less money on this project.
No, but like at the end of the day, a developer needs the permission from the city. They need they need council to be in line with what it is that they want to build. They need to have everything that the
You will
city has
make a little
designed
bit
as
more
far
affordable housing now.
as planning. They need to have everything to be in conjunction with that. So it means the developer is getting some sort of incentive from the government, and there's different levels. You know that there's the CMHC financing that our friends there at Colliers were talking about. You've got different development charges will be I don't know if they're delayed or if they're offset by having affordable housing. Like there's quite a bit of incentives that are there.
So why do we see an article like the one that we were talking about? Why is that? If there's so many incentives in place for the
Yes.
developer, why are they not putting more affordable housing there? Why isn't every developer going, oh my God, these incentives are so good. I'm actually going to do a little bit more affordable housing in this building than I
Yeah.
was planning because I can't pass up this opportunity. This is great.
Cost of land.
Cost of land. Okay.
Cost of land.
And why is the cost of
What?
land going up? Does it have anything to do
Hold
with
on. Hold on.
development
Counter
charges?
argument. I just counter
Development
argument.
charges?
Daryl, if we lower the prices of land and we lower the cost of real estate, then
Yes.
developers will get their land cheaper, and their performer would still be making them profitable with the affordable housing. Boom, problem solved.
Hold on. Say that again because that was
Profound.
so profound that I missed what you were getting at.
If the cost of home ownership, the real estate and land and everything else associated with it goes down, then it means developers will be able to develop their properties and have profits that they're hoping to realize, including the affordable housing, because their cost of acquisition was a lot lower.
How does that happen?
Well, that's the question. That's what the government's that's what CMHC's mandate is. Like they're trying to provide housing, and they're secretly releasing reports to their contacts in the media to try to get people to pay less money for housing.
So
Like
here,
the higher home ownership percentages they get, the more funding they get from the government, the better they look.
so let me give you an example here.
Okay.
A few years ago, I worked on a deal at 229 Richmond Street West, which is currently a parking lot. Okay. Now, the government wanted to buy this property from the owners. They wanted to take it from them because they wanted to make a dog park in the middle of downtown Toronto. And they ended up in a little bit of a war with the owners, because the owners were like, we don't care who we sell this to, but we want fair market value. And I actually ended up being used as a pawn in this whole game because I brought them what I felt was fair market value. Now, because of this problem with the city, who was like, we want this property and we're going to screw up any development proposal that comes in on this property because we want it for a dog park, we had to get out of the deal. And what ended up happening is the city of Toronto bought this property for $100 million. It is currently sitting downtown with picnic tables and umbrellas so that people could eat outside during the pandemic. If the goal was to create affordable housing, okay, they have this wonderful property that could house, 700 units right now that they own, that they could have shovels in the ground already. They could have, a few floors already built, maybe more than a few floors already built in this wonderful location in the heart of downtown Toronto for all of these people that need affordable housing. But instead, we have picnic tables and umbrellas. Now, explain that to me. Like, how does that help? On top of the swaths of land that the city owns that is far underdeveloped at the moment. Like, why not just say, we'll hire somebody we're gonna streamline this plan, because the planners know how to design buildings. That is apparent, right? They know how to at least tell developers how to design buildings much better than the ones that the developers can design. So why can't they hire an architect? Like, they could have 3 people in their office and they could be designing buildings and passing them through and hiring contractors to build these things for them every day of the week. We could have affordable housing all over the place. I would work for this division.
And you would be overpaid like every other publicly funded project
that's let's not go down that rabbit hole today.
That's ever been done, right? But
maybe there's part
to
of the
me,
problem.
if they're going to build a dog park, then you're going to have streets full of dog shit all over the place if you don't have a dog park in downtown. So but there's always a purpose for what their plans are, right? So but I hear you. It's frustrating.
$100 million dog park.
Pardon?
$100 million dog park.
It sounds like an expensive dog park, but in an area where the cost of real estate is, what's the cost of an acre in downtown Toronto?
Apparently $100 million.
Okay, so where else are you going to put a dog? Like, that's how much a dog park costs.
Well, but they're planning on building that whole park above the railroads, which will only cost $8 billion. Well,
there you go. So that $100 million dog park was a deal.
So
I get it. I know it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, public interest, pressure, from their constituents and stuff like that too. I was talking to somebody, can't remember how many days ago, but I was talking to him about how it used to be. And he said when somebody wanted to develop a property, or you wanted to build or get involved with whatever it was, there used to be only so many ways that people could be notified about it. So, you call your friend, say, oh, they're tearing down Palace Arms, get down here quick. We're going to start a riot. Now, because of the internet, all these people get this information so quickly. Yeah. They get this, biased video of why somebody should believe the way that the person who's making the video believes, and then they end up all running down there thinking that they're standing up for something for the greater good or whatever it is. And next thing you know, the city's hands are tied because they're like, look, there's thousands of people right now who are protesting this. The city's never had to face that before, right? Imagine what that would have been like 30 years ago.
Have you ever
There would have been a
driven?
city council meeting with 20 people from the community who all been and said, oh, no, no, no. And they all, I told you, I listened in on that one project on Shepherd there on YouTube. And I was hearing what the community members were talking about and what they were arguing about and their complaints and concerns. And they made no sense. Nobody had any experience or done any research whatsoever.
No, they just knew they didn't want it to happen.
They didn't want it. They're like, no, 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 no. This can't happen here.
It's
Right.
because of the price of soybeans. Don't you know? We can't have this here.
Right. Exactly. It was funny. Like, it was like, okay, I get it. I see the frustration that developers have when this kind of stuff happens.
I'm sure that my position is not the most popular with most people, but I don't believe you have convinced me otherwise so far. Now, I don't know if this is on the same topic, but I do
Sure.
think it is kind of tied into this. Let's go to. Boom. No, that's not it. Let's go to our wonderful new website.
Look at this
the
website that we have. It's all the
TorontoRealEstateShow.com.
articles. You hear about what we're talking about. You want more info, you go to TorontoRealEstateShow.com/oracles.
Is that what it said? Articles?
Yeah, oracles. But don't worry, the
Articles?
T is silent.
Oh, no. I guess I need to change that. Thanks for pointing that out on air. That's great.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't worry.
New
Okay.
map
Our
tracks
fans love us.
massive evictions happening across Toronto. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we really care about affordable housing. Okay. We really care about the people because we want them to live in the affordable housing. But let's get rid of all these people. Let's evict. Look at this map here. These are like
I don't see the map.
layers.
I don't see the map.
How can you not
Unshare and
see
then
the map?
reshare. Because you shared the old window. So unshare it and then share it again and select the map window.
Damn you, TK.
Well, I just want the viewers to have the same experience that you're having over there. You're excited.
Oh, I'm on the wrong screen? What is going on here? I believe they saw what I was seeing, but I could be wrong.
No, we just saw the list of the titles. Yeah, we just saw that.
No, I see. I'm doing it all wrong, TK.
Okay.
I'm doing it all wrong.
Blame the interns. You know, the interns in the back today they're screwing things
You're
up.
all fired.
Quiet back there.
You're fired.
Send you back to where you came from.
This is a professional show. I will
Google.
accept
We got them from Google.
nothing. Nothing lower than perfection. Okay.
So wow, that's a lot of evictions.
New map tracks mass evictions happening across Toronto. Now, this website was not created by the government.
No.
Of course, because I don't imagine this makes them look very good. But this doesn't look very good. I mean, I don't know if I can zoom in, but there is like layer under layer. Like there are like, I don't even know how many underneath each other here. People are getting evicted in mass. En masse. This is scary stuff. Isn't it?
An eviction application doesn't necessarily mean that there is an eviction that's going to happen. There is a moratorium on evictions right now too, right? There are a lot of applications. If you go down to any of the
What are you saying? That they may not be evicted? These are just hearings?
So, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you go to, like, I've been to lots of hearings and sometimes people show up and they pay the money that's due. The landlord was, wrongfully evicting them. Like there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. Is this a huge number compared to what it normally would be? Of course. Yeah. COVID's had a lot of strain on the economy and people are losing jobs, and because they're not as afraid because they think, well, right now I'm not going to be evicted. I'm not going to have to show up to the tribunal and the sheriffs are going to come because they feel like they have a little bit more protection, so they're getting away with a little bit more time before they finally decide to leave. But rental prices are down, so at the end of the day, people will find another place to go. And imagine if rent prices were record highs again, like they were a year ago, and we had all these evictions, and everyone was like, I can't pay my $1,500 a month rent, and now it's $2,000. that would be a tough situation. That would be more catastrophic, I think. Comprende?
Comprende.
I'm saying that the eviction orders that are and applications that are out there right now isn't like the pitch. It was kind of like the mortgage deferrals. Like it's scarier than it looks. It's less scary than it looks. It's the
I
opposite of that.
think you were right the first time.
No, it's not. It's
It's
not as
not?
scary as it looks. That's what I mean to say. Yeah.
Well, I think it's sad
Hmm.
because a lot of those people will end up evicted.
There will definitely be people who will be evicted, and the government's doing everything they can to delay that. Right.
Oh.
So right now, the eviction orders are not being carried out. So they'll have.
There was a period in between lockdowns where they were evicting people at a record pace.
Yeah, and they're also the tribunals right now with the Zoom calls, like the video calls, are really kicking butt.
It's
They're
crazy. And
yeah,
you got some poor person there who doesn't even have internet access or
yeah.
doesn't know how to use Zoom, and they're like, "I'm trying to get on. Somebody
Hello,
help me.
hello,
I
hello.
don't
Did they
know how
call
to
my
use
name?
this. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?"
They're hard. Like if you're not there, it's it's an uphill
Heartless.
battle.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
gone. You're gone.
yeah,
Boom, stamp,
yeah,
eviction.
yeah.
I
So
was
they're at
trying to
least granting the eviction orders, but they're not enforcing them.
I was trying to you it said I wasn't muted. I could hear you. Is
The
this
host was
thing
in
on?
another meeting. I thought it
Yeah.
wasn't my day.
The host is in another meeting, evicting
Yeah,
my neighbor.
yeah, that's okay. You know what? It's confusing, but at the end of the day, the people are.
Ev-
There's mass change here, and I try to be sensitive to everything, but yeah, there's definitely some people who have hit hard times. There's definitely people who are going to have to make some changes. There's definitely people who need to move to Welland, Ontario. I agree with you, Daryl. I'm not saying that that's
don't
like it's not possible to keep everybody here in Toronto and tell everybody we're just going to find a place for you and don't worry, we're going to take care of you. No, there are lots of people who need to leave the province, who need to leave the city, who need to go into different fields, who need to get more government support, who need to move back in with their parents. There's a lot of that out there, and I hope they all get back on their feet.
I don't want you to confuse my honesty with a lack of sensitivity.
I'm not.
But I mean, these are all very sensitive issues, but they all have really easy solutions. Now, let's just take, for example, there's an area that I've been watching for a while. It's
Okay.
at Weston and Lawrence, okay?
Yes.
Not the nicest area in the world, not the
No.
worst area in the world, but
Not by.
what they have is an
Yes.
Up Express Go station. Okay? Or I
Beautiful.
guess it's called a Up Express station. I don't think it's exactly Go. But what they have is one station in between them and the airport. There's a lot of
Hmm.
jobs out there by the airport. And they have one stop between them and Union Station. There's a
Yep.
lot of jobs in downtown. Now, what they also have is very low prices. I would call
Comparatively.
them affordable, or definitely a little bit more affordable.
So why aren't the developers putting in applications in that area?
They are slowly.
Okay.
They are
Slowly.
starting to.
Okay.
They are starting to, but where's the incentive? Because the prices are super cheap, and like
The numbers don't work.
the
Yep.
numbers just don't work yet. But there's plenty of opportunities for people to have a much more affordable place to live right there. They're a
Mhm.
20-minute train ride to downtown Toronto, right?
Mhm.
Why isn't that being
You heard it here first, folks. Invest in the Weston Village. You will have returns hand over fist. Today's cheap. Tomorrow's expensive. Get in there.
today is cheap,
The
tomorrow
developer
is
speaks. You got
expensive.
to listen to these guys. They
And,
know.
and while all of this is going on, we have stuff like this. Damn it. Fierce bidding. Oh,
Fierce bidding. Yeah, we're
fierce
good.
bidding for Midtown Toronto homes. Now, I didn't pay $1.99, so we probably see.
You got to go on incognito mode, and then you don't have to.
No, it doesn't work. They figured that out. Oh, look, I can read it.
figure it out.
Not that it
Okay.
really matters.
Right.
But there are some crazy, like, over asking prices going on here.
I don't find that they're crazy,
Well, I
but I
mean,
think
I
that
think what's crazy is the starting price, right? So here we have a listing for 1.595, sold for 1927. That
yeah,
seems a little bit. Is this bouncing girl bothering anybody else? There you go. You're gone. Okay, we
just
have 1.499 selling for 1752. Now, most of us are not in the same income bracket as TK, and
oh yeah,
$252,000 more than the asking price seems outrageous. Now, I didn't do my research. I'm guessing that this house was probably worth around 1.7. But who the
sure.
hell knows anymore? TK, do you know
Yeah.
what the hell is going on out there right now?
Do I know what a price of a house is going to sell for every time? Absolutely not. I've
No, but do you have
proven
an
wrong
idea of what it's
over and over again.
worth? Do you have an
I have an
idea?
idea of what the data supports, but that's about it because the market is always, always, always ahead of the data. It doesn't matter how much data you have. The market's in charge. And if the market's gone one way or the other, the market will reflect what that sale price is going to be. So,
Unless
yeah.
you're a developer being forced to do more affordable housing, because then the market isn't allowed to dictate everything.
Well, thankfully, that's a smaller market.
Sorry, I had to do that. But okay, so we have ridiculous bidding wars going on all over the place right now.
All over the place right now.
Ridiculous. We talked about it
Ridiculous. It
last
makes no
week.
sense.
You were saying 56 offers. I read an article about 70 offers in Mississauga.
Yep.
I can't even believe, like, just for fun, I was on realtor.ca
Hmm.
yesterday and I was like, holy cow. Like, to, it is in to buy a bungalow in the area where I live right now, a bungalow that is uninhabitable.
Yep.
Is that the right way to say that? Unhabitable.
Okay.
Uninhabitable.
Inhabitable. Yeah.
It's 1.4 friggin' million dollars. And you
Yeah.
still have to build a new house on there.
Yeah.
And that new house is going to be another
Realtor.ca.
million something.
When you go to realtor.ca, there's usually 250,000 listings. Like, I mean, it was at least a few months ago when things were a little bit more normal. And right now it's like 180,000. So that's all across
Right.
Canada.
So that
There's
1
way
4,
less listings.
but the 1 4 is never selling for 1 4.
You're talking about that Midtown example?
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about just a bungalow around here. Like, if
yeah.
it's listed for 1
No, there's
4,
properties sitting on the market right now that are 30, 60, 90 days on the market. It's not like
really?
it's people are stupid. It's just when you do price it low and you get everybody interested and everybody comes and they all think that they can get a good deal in this market and they think I can't believe it, the prices that I saw before, this is what I can afford. They know that the house price that they're selling has gone up, so they think finally 1.4, I can do it. And there's that one guy who's like, I got 2 million, but I'm going to look at the property anyways because it's at 1.4 and maybe I'll go up to 1.75. He loves it. He puts in his offer. Seller cashes the check. One winner,
Check this out.
69 losers.
There's
That's
a
it.
major catch to this $1.4 million Toronto property. This is actually around the corner
Headline
from me.
grabber. Yep.
Well, I mean, they did a beautiful digital rendering.
Yeah. The catch is it doesn't come with the house.
There's no house.
you
There's
know,
the house,
beautiful house though in the picture.
right?
Yep.
Beautiful house in the picture. 1.4 million with a Porsche in the driveway.
Better be.
But you get this and some approved drawings.
Yes.
That seems
Love it.
reasonable, right? So
Yeah.
to build that house is going to be, I'm guessing it's a 3,500 square foot house. Somebody's going to pay $400 a square foot. What's the math on that? I don't know, but it's over 1.2 million for sure.
1.5 to
So
build.
now you're in for 2.9 million to live around
Yeah.
the corner from me. And
Yeah.
that is no selling
You
feature.
there's better deals
I'll
out
tell you
there.
that. There's better deals out there, but where are they? How
But
much?
mostly in these cases, Daryl, mostly in these cases, is somebody's gone. They've decided to buy a lot. They're looking at building. They come up with this beautiful design. They say, "Man, I'm the best developer, designer, architect, you name it. I've got the plans." They pay all the right people. Everyone takes their money. "Oh, you're so smart, Jim. You know exactly this house is going to be great." They get all their quotes in from their contractors. They realize that it's way over budget and that the house is never going to be worth what it's going to cost them. And they say, "Well, if I build it, I'm going to lose money or I'm not going to make a profit. So instead, I'll sell the lot with the plans and I'll make more money just on the lot as is
With no risk,
without even lifting a finger."
no client, no carry on warranty to deal with for
Yeah,
the next 10 years.
this is common. This is very common.
Very common. But
Yeah,
what's crazy is that the new houses in this area are currently
yeah.
selling on realtor.ca for 3.2, 3.4, some
Built,
built,
built.
yes,
Yeah,
but the prices are nuts. The
yeah.
prices are nutty.
Huge difference though when you're talking about a house that's already built that you get to walk into and then you put down your money. Financing, comfort level, seeing the actual room sizes and all that stuff. You get the feel for it. That's when people buy $3 million houses.
But this is crazy. Like,
How
so
many how many develop
we talked
how many
earlier this week. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's okay. It's not that important.
It's probably more important than what I have to say.
Well, how many new developments are selling $3 million houses, right? Pre-construction.
Lots right now. Oh, not
Where?
pre-construction.
Pre-construction.
No,
Yeah.
nothing pre. Although
Hard
there's
for,
some crazy,
it happens. It exists.
not like these custom homes for 3 million, but like subdivision homes are in the 2 million range or more, and
Hmm.
they're up in like Richmond Hill, Young, and like
Yeah.
Jefferson Side Road. You
Yeah.
can own a house for $2 million. This is great,
Yeah.
and people are buying them.
Yeah.
Like, where is all this money coming from? I called you earlier this week to
Yeah.
get some background on $1 million townhouse.
Yes.
This townhouse was like from 1999. It's backing onto a parking lot of a retirement residence. It's up at Young and
Right
Elgin
neighbors.
Mills. It's a beautiful house, right? It's
Yeah.
it's I don't know, 2,000 square feet, 2,200 square feet, split over 14 floors, right? But it's a
3 or 4.
$1 million, a million one, nine
Yeah.
hundred that whatever they end up getting for it. This was off market, but like
Yeah.
there are less and less options for normal people to buy houses. It is crazy. So like this affordable thing is not going anywhere, and it's not getting solved anytime soon. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse because soon
Yeah.
affordable will be $1 million.
So I think a couple things at play here. Let's try to get the positive outcome out of all this.
That doesn't
So
get
one is
views.
one is there's a huge transfer of wealth that's going to happen as the baby boomers are cashing in their real estate and helping out their children. That's really 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 clear that there's an amazing amount of wealth in people of that age category, right? And they have children, and they're going to be looking at buying and selling, right? Two, buying a home, may not be something that somebody can do until they get married. Okay, we are far past the 1950s households, where most households, not all, we won't give examples, but not all, where both spouses don't work. Right, a lot of the couples that I
Both?
know, both spouses work.
Oh, work. You said don't work.
One of the spouses don't work. That's what I meant to say. So now, for the typical household, there's two incomes, right? Then you've got all these young people who are looking at all these house hacking and all these secondary incomes and side hustles and investment returns and passive income. And there's a lot more out there that people are going to be able to, right? Yep. People are going to be able to generate more income to support their housing needs, right? So
But those are the
there's going to
same
be
people that want to live in like Puerto Plata and do it from there.
no.
No.
These are the same people who've got, the 9 to 5. Those people are the extremes, but the typical one, they've still got their 9 to 5 here in the city. They've still got their 60 to $80,000 a year income from their job, and they're bumping it up to six figures. And they have another partner who does the same thing. They're hitting that $180,000 target to be able to get into the average home, and their comfort level. So interest rates are going to be low for a while. Even if they go up, what are they going up to? 4%? Like, what are they really going up to? Right? They're not going up past 4. So when you're looking at long-term debt, these people are saying to themselves, "Hey, it's crazy not to get a 6 to $800,000 mortgage. That's what you need to do. And that is acceptable. That's no big deal. I'm going to go out and get a $600,000 to $800,000 mortgage. The bank's going to qualify me. I'm going to meet all the ratios. I'm going to try to find some extra side hustle income to be able to make sure that I get to do the lifestyle that I want to live, go on vacation, stuff like that. Use some house hacking to maybe generate some income from a basement apartment, which more and more suites are going to have, more and more houses that'll be built, or houses that are existing are going to start having more income properties. That's something that we seriously lack, right?
Who gets affected by this? Who gets affected by both parents working not only full time, but
Yep.
side hustles on top of their full time jobs? Who gets affected?
Well, I'm
The
I'm thinking of the
children.
children, but the main
The
thing is
children. The poor
the main thing is
children.
that the lifestyles are different, and also job types are different, especially if people are going to be working at home 1, 2, 3 days a week, right? There's so many different things that are part of the lifestyle that we have today that kids can spend more time with their parents, right? Side hustles kids can get involved with. There's You're not thinking about going to the mines and I'm leaving at 6 a.m. and coming home at 8 p.m. and I'm working extra hours. That's not the job that people have today, right?
But when a kid
You know,
is like born in their formative years, like before they actually go to school full time, who the
okay.
hell's watching these kids when the parents are both working even 9 to 5 jobs, 9 to 4, 10 to 4? The
Well,
new
yeah. I mean, obviously, childcare is something that has to be uh, thought about. So in the beginning, maybe you're not buying a house until your kids are in school. Maybe that's part of
maybe
your
the
sacrifice.
developers should pay for childcare.
Again, sarcasm alert. And
Where? That's gonna be next.
yeah, I don't
Every
think that
development
that's
has to come with free childcare.
a childcare center in
Why
the
not?
basement
Why the
part of
hell
the.
not? And a school.
What an idea though. Let's go. Let's take this seriously. What an idea for a condo to have in-house childcare for everybody who's a part of the condo board, like everybody who's in the condominium, and there's a budget.
Sounds like a good way to keep those monthly fees down so that the places are a little bit more affordable.
Well, I think that if it's well managed, it can be done.
I think that you're right. I
Yeah.
also think that there's a solution here
Okay.
that might work. So, one of the problems that is driving up the prices of all of the real estate is the fact that there's a labor shortage, right? There's a huge shortage in the people willing to do the hard work necessary in order to build all of these houses and all of these condos, right?
Yep.
And so what happens is the general contractors who are fortunate enough to have labor, you know what they get to do, right?
Back up the prices.
Jack them up, baby.
Yep.
Jack them up high, right?
Yep.
Because it's like
Double. We're
if you
doubling the prices. I
if
know I tried you this last time, but this time it's going to be this price.
if you want
I
us, I
got
mean,
three other guys
it's either
who will say yes.
you or
You say
this
no.
guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't care because I'm here to make money, right? I don't care who I work
Yeah.
for. So we have this generation of people that I would say our generation is part of, right? We have
Okay.
multiple generations of people that are like, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not breaking my back all day. I'm not going out in the freezing cold, right? And
Okay.
I'm not getting to robots here, although they are the answer. And they will
Okay. We
always
won't go there
be
today. We
the
won't go there
answer.
today.
We will not talk
Labor.
about
Labor
robots.
shortages.
But there's some of these guys in construction make some serious money.
Big time.
They make a lot of money, and they can, I mean, not that they have much time other than work to enjoy the money, but they can make some serious money. I mean, have you seen some of the houses that some of these construction workers live in? I mean, a lot of them are smart. They go far away. They buy these big, beautiful houses. They trek back and forth for an hour, hour and a half every day,
They leave at 5 a.m. Less traffic.
and they don't give a shit,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
they're few and far between nowadays. And we
Mhm.
need to somehow incentivize, or we need to figure out a way to get all these other generations interested in doing that, because it is not a secret. We're getting short on time here, and I am running long on opinions. we are there's a huge opportunity here, right? Because we have definitely, there's no doubt about it, that the Canadian government and the Bank of Canada have inflated our way out of this mess, okay, with the real estate markets. Real estate market and stock market, but a gigantic portion of why we are not in as dire a position as we should be is because of all this money printing and all of these asset injections of funds pushing asset prices up and allowing them to be affordable with low interest rates, right? It's all policy and shenanigans that have kept this thing afloat and are going to keep it afloat for a long time. And they've basically told us, like, we're going to keep doing this until everything is okay and we come out the other side, right? So it seems to me, with all of this unemployment, right, that there's a lot of opportunity for people to work in construction right now. But they'd rather take $1,800 a month for nothing than actually go out and make thousands upon thousands of dollars to do some hard labor. I don't blame them. I personally would never want to be a carpenter in the winter in Toronto. I would never want to slug concrete at any point in time in the city of Toronto.
Any season.
Any
Yes.
season. But
But we're different though. I mean, look, I know guys who are really happy in construction. Like that's what they do. And they could never imagine wearing a collared shirt and slacks driving around all day long with a briefcase. Like they think that is just outrageous. It seems like we're doing nothing.
100%.
Right?
But where is everybody? Why is everybody sitting at home and not, like, why do we not have an oversupply of labor in the construction market? Because it's so great to work in this market. Because, I mean, that solves pricing issues, that solves employment issues, that solves affordability issues, that solves all kinds of stuff, right? That doesn't it?
That's something that's been around since I was in school and probably when you were in school as well too. Is the school curriculum promotes university post-secondary education, right? They promote white-collar jobs, right? That's what they do. They promote
is the problem.
academics. Yeah, they promote academics, right?
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. But I think that is I think the fundamental part of it all, right? Is that there's a really, really, really good, and the guys who I know, it was always like a connection. It was a family connection, friends that they were close with ended up going to construction, and then they went down that road and they've been very successful.
How do you know if you like it or you don't like it if your family isn't in construction and you weren't, you know, you didn't get a slice of it, you didn't get a taste of it? I mean, me in my younger days when I was in school, I mean, I think I had a choice between a birdhouse and something out of tin, and I forget, it was a picture frame. So we were allowed to build either a birdhouse out of wood and a picture frame out of tin. Okay, and that was my construction experience growing up. That one project in grade 9 shop class or whatever grade it was, grade 8. But why are we not like having kids like build houses? Like, just practice on them. Well,
we will solve this mystery next time on the Toronto Real Estate Show with Darryl and TK. Solutions to all the world's problems, not just real estate. You know,
I think so.
I know. I think
that's
Darryl.
what it's turning into here. I think this is the voice of reason.
The voice of reason. Yeah, I'm gonna send this to City Hall.
I think
Monday's that show. Let's do it.
Okay, Monday or Thursday? As
Monday.
You want to do it Monday?
Yep.
I'm in. I will be there. I think it's possible.
If you're still listening and you have not liked or subscribed or commented, now's the time.
What's wrong with you? Come on. You know how this works.
We're accepting subscribers.
Yes.
Only for so much longer.
And we will keep the price where it is right now for a limited time.
No commitment. No obligation.
No obligation. We thank you all. Thank you for being here, Mr. TK.
Thanks,
always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for absolutely destroying everything that I had to say today. I always love that. And
you bring up a lot of great points.
I think you do too. And I think that was a lot of fun.
All right. I liked it.
I enjoyed it immensely.